Hey guys, how's it going? Yuri here. Welcome to Workout Wednesdays. Obviously, I'm in the hotel room here, so I'm not going to be working out and showing you any exercises, but I will answer a very common question that I continue to get asked with respect to working out and gaining muscle. So let me pull this one off my Facebook page, and it's from Srinivas. Hopefully that's the right pronunciation. So he is, I'm just going to read you the question here. So I eat around 2 grams of protein per kilogram of my weight for bodybuilding. I feel it's difficult to eat so much every day. I'm interested in strength training. My goal is to be fit in long running. So I want to work out 5 days a week, 3 days for strength training, 2 days of cardio. How much protein do I need? I think 1 gram per kilogram will be enough. If possible, please do a program on strength training. Well, Srinivas already have a number of strength training programs. Now, with respect to your question, and for anyone else wondering this, I believe I've answered this a number of times with respect to how much protein. Really, the consensus is this. You basically need 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body mass. So I weigh about 165, 170 pounds, depending on the day. And what that equates to is probably, I guess, 65 grams of protein if we do 0.8 times whatever the kilograms would be. So that's really not a lot of protein. And it's very important to distinguish between kilograms and pounds, right? Because if we're talking about pounds, we're essentially multiplying that by 2.2. So that's a huge difference in the amount of protein, right? So I wouldn't, 65 grams of protein is very different from, let's say, 130 grams of protein, which some people get confused if they're thinking about 1 gram per pound, for instance, of body weight. Right? So if I weighed 170 pounds, 1 gram per pound would be 170 grams of protein. That's ridiculous. So remember this, when it comes to training, strength training, building mass, or building strong muscles, it's not about the protein necessarily. The protein is important for sure. Like, you need that for repair, and that's really important to consider. But again, remember this, it's not so much about how much protein you're getting. If you're getting 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight, you will be fine, unless you are some type of like crazy ultra athlete where you're training twice a day, 7 days a week, in which case you'll probably need more in terms of rebuild and recuperation. 0.8 grams per kilogram is more than enough. That's basically what the science shows. A lot of the science shows that it doesn't really matter how much protein you have. The only significant variable to how much weight or muscle you can gain is testosterone supplementation. Okay, so that's and this is without even strength training. They've done tests where they've done studies where they've had subjects strength train with no supplementation, strength train with protein, excess amounts of protein, then strength training with and without testosterone, and then testosterone by itself. And the testosterone by itself group pretty much had almost, if not more, muscle mass gain than those training with high amounts of protein. So testosterone is a very, very important precursor to building muscle. Now, I'm not saying you should supplement with that because I don't believe you should do that at all. But what is important to consider is that it's really about caloric intake. So if you want to build muscle mass, you have to be eating all the time. It becomes a full-time job. You need to be crushing your muscles in the gym to fatigue, to exhaustion, and then you need to rebuild them with plenty of food. And I'm really suggesting high-quality whole food, and that's challenging to do because unless you enjoy eating even beyond the point of which you don't feel like eating anymore, it's not a really enjoyable process to go through. Now, if you're not somebody who wants to build a lot of muscle mass but just wants to be strong and fit, then again, just eat slightly more than your maintenance calorie intake requirements. So let's say you are, like myself, 170 pounds. You don't want to gain muscle mass necessarily, but you want to maintain and just stay strong. So let's say my caloric intake needs for the day would be 3,000 calories. I want to maintain 3,000 calories or slightly above that, more or less, okay? Protein intake on that would be, let's say, for me, 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight, so let's just call it 70 grams of protein, which can very easily be achieved by a small piece of steak, so a smoothie with almond butter, hemp seeds, some spirulina. There's all sorts of great protein foods out there that I talk specifically about and extensively about in Super Nutrition Academy. So if you want to learn more about how to get your protein, where to get it all from, the best sources, what the science is showing, I'd highly recommend checking out Super Nutrition Academy. The link for that is below. And anyways, so Srinivas, hopefully that answers your question. And again, I've done other videos on this, so I'm going to link to those as well. And for anyone else wondering about this protein thing, because remember guys, protein, as you probably know, is one of the most misunderstood and complicated questions within the health space. So if you have questions about this, and if you're tired about the conflicting points of view and expert recommendations, then I completely understand that. And that's one of the reasons that I spent so much time putting together the lessons in Super Nutrition Academy, specifically in Module 2, where we tackle this protein issue once and for all. And again, it's not my opinion, it's very objective and science-based. So if you want to learn more about that, if you want to go deeper with this protein question and really get to the bottom of it so you don't have to worry about all this other stuff, then again, I'd highly recommend that you check that out. So there we go. So there's our Workout Wednesday question. It kind of ties in with nutrition as well. But again, remember, unless you're working out like a madman 7 days a week, twice a day, you don't need that much more protein than 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight. All right, guys? So thank you for the question. Hopefully that helps you out. Have a great Wednesday, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.